Welcome to Excel Basics. Thank you so much for attending. We're just going to go over just a few Zoom rules, but let's do introductions first. My name is Ellen. I am a library instructor for PPL, and we have someone with me today as well. We have Meredith.
Hello.
She will be monitoring our Q&A. You will be muted and you will only see my screen. Should you need to exit full screen, go ahead and select the escape button and it will exit you out of full screen. We do have a chat icon. Please ask any questions in the chat box and Meredith will either stop the presentation for me to answer or she can answer as well. There will be a recording of this class. It will be emailed within a few days to work along or practice later. If you wish to practice hands-on during this class, we do have a link to a Google Drive with a spreadsheet that we will be using today. Thank you, Meredith. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started today. Let me go ahead and pull up my exercise document. Okay. So I have pulled up my, my Excel spreadsheet. The file is called sales by employee and month. This is a spreadsheet full of data of employees and their sale figures in one calendar year. All right. So at the very top of the screen right here, let's review what we have. We have the quick access toolbar. This is where we would save our document. This is where we would undo and redo our mistakes. We also have a customized quick access toolbar. So for the mistakes, let me go ahead and type in, hello, everyone. And I don't want hello, everyone to be on here. So I can go ahead and up here and click on undo. And it will undo my mistake. Or if I would like to return it, I can click on this arrow here, redo. And I have it back. But for the purposes, I'm going to go ahead and undo. So for our customized quick access toolbar, if we select the down arrow, we have some customized quick actions. We can go ahead and select spelling. And now we have the spell check as our quick access function. So if we select spelling, it will ask us if we would like to continue to the beginning of the sheet and you want to say yes. So that way it can check the sheet. And it looks like it caught a mistake. And we'll go ahead and change April. So it went through the rest of it and it says that we are good to go. So I'll go ahead and select OK. All right, so up here at the very top of our spreadsheet is our ribbon. So ribbon has a bunch of tabs that will help us introduce or help us organize our spreadsheet. So the first tab that we have here is the File tab. So if we select the File tab, we can save our document here. We can save as. Save as is we can save it as a different format. So if I select Save As and choose a folder I would like to download it in, it will pull up what would you like to save it as. And the default would be our Excel workbook, but they have all these other formats that we can save it as, and one of them being a PDF format. All right, I'll go ahead and cancel this for now. And this is also where we would print our spreadsheet if we need to. Okay, I'm gonna go back. So usually for our default, when we first open up Excel spreadsheet, it will default us to the Home tab. The Home tab has all the major tools, including text options right here. So we can change the font size, the type, the placement of it, as well as color. We also have our number formatting options, our style tools, inserting and deleting columns, and the handful of basic formulas, filtering, sorting options, review. We will review most of these options throughout the class.
Hey, Ellen, we've had a request to show where you can access spelling again. It could be a difference in versions, but if you could go over it for us.
Sure thing. I am working with Excel 2016. So to get the quick access, we'll go up here to this Customize Quick Access toolbar. It's this little arrow at the top left. So if we select it, we can select spelling or unclick spelling, but this is how I would add our quick access tool. Okay. Do we have any more questions?
That's it for now.
Okay. Okay. So the next tab that we will be going over is our Insert tab. Our Insert tab has can make our spreadsheet more visual. We can add pictures, we can add shapes, and we can add various visual charts. We can also add hyperlinks to a website or an email. We can also add a header and footer. So if we select this option, if you are familiar with Word, it works the same way. It will add an invisible or unhidden label either at the foot or at the header. And this is a very good way if you have multiple pages you would like to print out. This is where you would number your pages. So if we do a very quick print preview, we can see that our header and footer has appeared on the page. Okay. All right, so far so good.
Yes, so far so good. We did have someone point out just to keep in mind at the top left corner, the recording and live features can cover up some stuff. So if you're
Gotcha.
having a hard time seeing up in that corner, that would be why.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Okay. And so with that, we'll go ahead and go to our page layout tab. And our page layout tab, we can select a printed area and we can orient it as well. So we have right now we are working in landscape and we do have a portrait. So if we select portrait, we are now working in a portrait landscape. So I'll go ahead and select orientation one more time and the landscape. All right. And we can also change the theme. So we can add, we can customize a theme with our spreadsheet. We can also add colors if we would like. All right. So the next tab that we will be going over would be the formula tab. This is where we would insert all the formulas that we possibly want. So if we select the insert function, this is essentially a dictionary or like a database of all of our formulas. We'll be mostly going over today this Autosum and the features that Autosum has. Let's try putting this at the bottom. Here we go. Okay. The next tab that we will be going over is our data tab. This data tab has filters and sorters and streamlines the look and function of your data. So we will go over the sorting and the filter function later in the class. So the next one that we have is our review tab. Our review tab is where we can find the spelling function as well as the thesaurus. This tab is really great when we want to use and work with others on a spreadsheet. So we can add comments to our spreadsheet. So if we select new comment, so I just added a comment to our spreadsheet. And if I select somewhere outside of the comment text box, it will disappear. So if anybody would like to see the comment on the spreadsheet, they would hover their mouse over the spreadsheet. And you can see my comment, good job. And they can indicate that there is a comment on the cell if it has a small red triangle. It could be a variation of colors as well, but it would have a small triangle at the top right of the cell. And
hey, Ellen,
yes.
We have a quick question that I think goes back a tiny bit. It was asked, how can I put the numbers of pages automatically?
Okay, sure. So let's go back to our design tab. So anytime we have a footer or a selector selected, a new tab will appear called the Design tab. And how we can add a number of pages. We do have a function right up here that says number of pages or number of pages. And so we would select 1, and then if we continue on, it will number those pages. All right. Any other questions I can answer?
I think that is it so far.
Okay, perfect. All right, let's go back to the review tab. And if we ever need to delete a comment or edit a comment, we have these tabs up here. It will edit a comment here. And if we are done with a comment, we can always delete it. And now that triangle is no longer there. And if I hover my mouse over that cell, I can no longer see the comment. All right.
Okay, and we've got one last request to repeat the page numbering step by step.
Sure thing. All right. Let's go ahead and start from the beginning. So to find the header and footer, we have, it will be in the Insert tab. So we'll go ahead and select header and footer. And now it has my header and footer selected under the Design tab. And we have all these tabs featuring under the Design. One of the tabs would be the page number. So if we select page number, it will add a page and we can select 1. We can do the same thing at the footer as well. So if we hit footer, we hit the page number right here. And we select 1. It will add 1 to our page. Okay. Great. Any other questions I can help with?
This one's a little confusing. I'll see if I can work it out, and if needed, bring it back to you, okay?
Oh, sure.
Yeah, so carry on.
Okay. All right, I'll go ahead and our next tab is going to be the View tab. So far, since we've added a header and footer, we have been working on the page. Oops. There we go. Thank you, numbers. We have been working with the page layout. This will allow us to see all of the spreadsheet in paper format. It'll see how you look in a printed document. So if we choose to go to page break, this will this view will allow us to see where all the pages break when we're working in a document. So if we select this, we can see it has completely zoomed out and we see page 1 of our document. All right. So for class purposes, I'll go ahead and select normal. So, and we are back to a normal view. We do not see our header and footer, but it is there, and we can always double check if it's there by selecting the page layout, and we can still see our header and footer. Right. I'm going to go back to the normal tab. All right, the last tab that we have is the developer tab. And this tab mostly works with the macros, which is for advanced users in order to automate processes in Excel. We won't be really touching much of this during this class, as we are just only going to stick with the basics. Okay, so I went back and selected Home tab so I can see all the tools that we will be working with today. And we have a formula bar here. This will show texts or formulas used in a particular cell. So if I select this cell here, it will show 723 matching this right here. Column headings are right here, and they are alphabetical, while the row headings right here to the side are numerical. You cannot change these headings. The column headings will always be A, B, C, D, while the row headings will always be 1, 2, and 3, and so on. Okay. So earlier I used a term called cell. So each box here and everywhere that you do see is called a cell. When a cell is selected, the name of the cell, meaning which column and rows it is in, will show up in the box next to the formula bar. So right now, let's go. I have H15 selected. It will show up here in this name box up here where I am. And if I select K5, it will tell me that I am working with K5. The cell names will be helpful when it comes down to using formulas. Okay, and here at the very bottom, we have a spreadsheet, and we can have multiple tabs known as sheets, and we'll continue more on later. And then to the right, it works, this is a shortcut to the View tab. So we have our normal tab or normal layout. And if we select Page Layout, we would return back to our printed document view. And then this one here is our page break. And if we select that, it will go to our page break view. So these are just small little shortcuts. And then here we have the zoom function. So we can zoom in and zoom out of our spreadsheet just so that we can see like the overall view. And so for class purposes, I'll go ahead and zoom in just a little bit so you can see all of my data. All right. So we have gone over our tabs and some of the tools. Do we need a review of where any of the tools or what tabs are currently?
We just had a request for clarification between what the difference between sheets and pages are.
So a sheet is the spreadsheet that we will be working with. And the spreadsheet is where you would input data. The pages that we have here just lets you view the spreadsheet, but as a page when you're ready to print it out.
Okay. So basically you can have multiple pages on a sheet. It's just separated kinds of information. So you can have information on one sheet that covers many pages that you print out, and then information on the second sheet that's just one page. It just depends on how much information you need to put there, correct?
Correct.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for explaining that a little better. Great. Are there any other questions I can answer at this time?
I did have a last demonstration of the header page format, page numbers. So I had somebody ask if they wanted to do like one page of however many pages there are, what to do. And I looked it up. So if you want, I can share how to do that. Or if you wanted to do it yourself, you can do that too.
What was the question one more time?
It goes back to the page numbers for the headers. They wanted to do like page 1 of 4, page 2 of 4, and have that auto populate. And so I figured if you wanted to share that out loud, I shared it with the person who asked the question, but others might be interested in how to do that as well.
Okay.
If you want, I can walk you through it.
Sure. Thanks.
Okay. Yeah, so we'll do the insert header and footer.
Sure thing.
And then you just click the page number and leave it as it is. Put in a space, type of, put another space, and then the number of pages. And you click that. Oh, well, no, you don't need 4. Just do the number of pages because it'll auto-populate it with that, the icon next to page number.
Page number like this?
You don't have to type it out. You can do the icon next to page number is number of pages. Yeah.
I see.
There you go. And then when you click out of the header, it'll autofill it.
All right. Let's go ahead and give it a try. And
there you go.
Thank you so much for that trick, Meredith.
Yeah, no problem. And then we had one last question. Does a sheet end at the alphabet Z?
So funny thing is it does not. It has a lot of data entry. So if I continue to zoom out, you'll notice that it doesn't end with Z. It will have AA, AB, AC, and so on and so forth. And so it will continue on for a long, long time.
Yeah, as far as I know, the options are endless because I think even if you get through the double letters, you could get into triple letters. But I mean, that's a lot of data. I don't think most of us deal with that much data.
Yes. So it doesn't end with Z. It is unlimited I think there is a limit, but it's like a big cap. And same thing with numbers. It doesn't end at 100. Like you can go down to 1,000 and something.
Thank you.
Right. Thank you. All right. Are we ready to get started with formatting our Excel sheet?
I've got one last request to show how to get to the header and footer again.
Sure. So our header and footer, it will be under the Insert tab right up here next to the Home tab. So if we select Insert, it will be at the right side of the screen. It will be header and footer here. And then that's where you will find it. And so if we select it, it will bring to the header and footer page or tab.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and we are going to auto fit some columns and rows. So some of the names are squished, but we can fix that. When we hover over the column heading, you will see a vertical line with arrows facing out. The easiest way to edit a single column size is to use this arrow to click and drag to the desired length. Another option that we can do, we can hover over in between, like so, between J and K, so we can extend September. So, but instead of clicking and dragging, what we're going to do is we're going to double click. And it has auto fit the column to fit September. So, and I'm going to do the same thing for November. I'm going to put my mouse in between L and M. I'm going to double click and it has auto fitted November. So it can get if you're working with a lot of columns, it can get a little tedious just double clicking one after another. What we can do is we can do this all in one swoop. So in order to adjust the columns, auto adjust the columns, we're going to left click on A1 and we're going to click and drag all the way down to M11. So once we have A1 through M11 selected, what we're going to do is we're going to go to this format function right here. And we're going to select this arrow right here. So if we click on this arrow, it will drop down a menu for us. The menu here, we have auto fit column width. So if we select auto fit column width, it has auto adjusted September, December, November, and February to fit in the into the column, as well as it auto adjusted to fit exactly for March, April, May, June, the shorter months that we have. And the look of it doesn't really suit us. So what we're going to do is we'll left click 1A and we'll do a click and drag up to M11. And just like before, we'll go to our format. We'll left click and we can always manually adjust column width. So if we select this, a dialog box will appear. And let's say I would like to hit 3. Now with autumn width, this will make all the columns even, no matter how short or how long the text is. So if I enter 3, for example, oops, it will shrink down everything to be 3 inches, or the size of 3 width, excuse me. Now to extend this, we'll go back to the format. We'll drop down the menu with the black arrow, and we will select column width one more time. And we're going to, let's say, type in 10. And look, it has extended all of our column width to 10. And it looks good. Any questions that I can answer, Meredith?
I think you just covered the one. We had a question about making the columns the same width, so mission accomplished.
Oh, awesome. I'm glad. Hey. All right, so let's go ahead and differentiate the months with the rest of the data by adding some color. So let's go ahead and left click in 1A, and we're going to click and drag all the way down to M1, so all the way down to December. So up here in the Home tab is where we can adjust our fonts. And over here on these icons, this is where we can adjust the color of the cell of our letters. So we will take this fill color, this little bucket icon, and we will, if we just select it right now, just the way it is, it will fill our entire row as yellow. But we can add more colors if we need to. So I'm going to A1, click and drag back to M1, and I'm not really feeling yellow. Let's pick a different color. So we can select our colors with this black arrow. We can drop down and we see a menu of colors. And so if we hover a color, the row that we have selected will auto change to that color until we can select it. So I'm liking this blue right here. So I will select the blue. Even though I like the color, I'm getting some feedback that not really, people can't really see the black on top of this blue color. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight one more time. And I'm going to hover over the font color here. And if I select it the way it is, it will be a very, very bright red. And now we really can't see the text. So I'm going to go ahead and select this down arrow here, the same way with the bucket icon, and I'm going to select white for my text. And here we are. Now we can see the name of the month. Okay. So the next step that we will be doing with our spreadsheet is we're going to organize this data by employee in alphabetical order by using the sorting option here. Okay, so let's go ahead and click on the column header. So we're going to select A, since this is where all the names are. We're going to select A, and it has highlighted all of the A column. And we are going to select the sort and filter function right here. There is a black arrow, and we will hit the drop down. And we can see we have some options. We can sort A to Z, Z to A, filter, custom, and such. But what we're going to do is we're going to alphabetize it A through Z. So let's go ahead and select. And we have a dialog box appear. It's asking us if we want to expand the selection, and we want to say yes. So we do want to sort this, because if we choose the second option, it will only alphabetize the selected column, which would mess up all the sale figures, and it would put Pedro with Elise, or Jacqueline with Wanda, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm going to go ahead and select expand the selection, and we're going to hit sort. So not only did we sort our names, we sorted with the data that was associated with them. So, any questions so far?
Not for this section at this time.
All right. All right. So we're going to start adding some rows to our spreadsheet. We noticed an employee is missing from the spreadsheet. So we're going to add a row for Stephen. So to add a row, we have this function here, insert. So if we select insert, it will only insert one cell. So, but we want the entire row. So I'm going to go ahead and undo what I did. And I'm going to select, I'm going to left click on my current one, and I'm going to click and drag the entire row. And then I'm going to insert. And now it has added a row for me. Another way that we could insert a row, I'm going to go ahead and undo this really quick, is if we right click on the row here, if we right click, we see a shortcut function of insert. And if we select insert, it has added a row for us. Oopsies. So, but keep in mind where you select to help insert the row. Since we are doing this alphabetically, and the row will only insert above where we've selected, we can't really put Steve here. So we're going to go ahead and undo our row. So what we're going to do is we're going to select Wanda. And that way Steve can be above Wanda and alphabetically. So once we select number 11, it'll highlight the entire row. We'll go ahead and insert. And now we have a new row for Stephen. Okay, and I'm going to enter some numbers here. And these are just randomized numbers. So you can use your own numbers, or you can follow, if you are following along, you can input your own data for Stephen. All right, is there any questions that I can answer at this time?
Yes, we've got one that says, when you insert a row, will it automatically format to the same as the other cells?
Same format as the other cells?
Yeah, so I think if I remember correctly, it takes on the format of the cells that get moved down. So if you had two different formats and you were inserting between those, it would take on the format of the one below rather than the one above. But I'm not 100% sure on that. Could always test it out.
Sure, we can try. I mean, since Wanda, since everything has been formatted, let's go ahead and make a very obvious font here. So I made Wanda arrow rounded. So if we insert a row here and Trevor decides to pop on, so it takes on the same data that's in the
above row. Okay.
Above.
I had it backwards.
So I'll go ahead and undo all this so everything can be the same again. Any other questions at this time?
Are you going to be touching on the find tool at all?
Not for this class, no.
Okay, because we did have a question about how to find a specific employee if you had a large data set, you know, if you couldn't just easily look.
Okay, for a quick one, we do have a find and select function. And if we select it, it does bring us to a drop-down menu. And if we ever need to find an employee, we do have a find option. So if we select it, and it's asking us who would we like to find. And so I would like to find Betty. And it will take me to the cell where Betty is.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's start adding some of these numbers here. Or sorry, not add, but we're going to, just like adding a row, we're going to add a column. So we would like to know the total sales for each employee. So what I'm going to do is I want to put these figures right next to their names. So just like rows are added above your current section, columns are added to the left of your current section. So let's go ahead and select column B, and I'm going to insert. And now I have made some room right next to, right after the name. So my, whatever was in the B column got moved over to C. And so we are going to define this column as total sales. Okay. So now we can start adding all of our data together. So we're going to do some calculations in our total sales. There are multiple ways of adding a formula to your data. The first is clicking on Autosum, and Autosum is in our Home tab. Autosum is right here. So if we select Autosum, it has inputted a formula. And so we want to calculate the total of Betty's numbers. So we're going to select the cell under January. So in C2, we're going to click and drag all the way down to N2. And we are going to hit enter. And it has calculated for us the rows between C2 all the way down to N2. And if we select the cell, you can see the formula and it has C2 and N2. A second option is to type out the formula. This will come once you get more familiar with formula names. So we see equal sum. So we're going to type equal sum, and you can see that sum has been selected for us. So we'll go ahead and double click on the sum. And now it's asking us what cell. So we want C3. So we're going to go ahead and type in C3 with a colon. And then we are going to type in 3. And so it has highlighted what we want in the formula. And we're going to type the right parentheses, so that way we can close the formula and complete it. When we hit enter, it has calculated for us between C3 all the way down to N3. We don't have to continue to add formulas row by row. Once you have a formula in place, it can be expanded to all applicable rows. So what we can do is we can select the cell with the formula in it. So I'm going to select B3. And you can see at the bottom right corner of the cell, you see a bolded dot. We're going to click on this dot, and you can see that my mouse icon has changed. It's no longer a bold white cross, but if we hover over it, it will turn into a simple black cross. So we're going to click and we're going to drag all the way down to B12. And it has filled in the formula. So if we select B4, we can see the sum has added C4 to N4, C5 to N5, et cetera, et cetera.
Hey, Ellen, could you demonstrate first adding a column one more time, and then the autofill one more time?
Sure, not a problem. So let me go ahead. So to add a row, we are going to select one of the columns. For this example, I'm going to add B, or I'm going to select B, and then I'm going to hit Insert. There is a tab function up here. I'm going to click Insert, and this will have me add a column. Okay.
All right, thank you. And then the autofill, I guess if you can undo it and just show how it works again. Yeah.
Sure. So for the, let me redo that. So for the autofill, to autofill the formulas, we have a little black dot at the corner right here. We're going to we're going to click on that big bold dot, and we're going to click and drag all the way down to B12, and it will autofill the formula.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Oh, we do have one last question. Since we're running out of time, this one's kind of a handy one. How do you center and bold text? Basically, how do you change things on the font?
Oh, okay. Let's go ahead and select C2. And how we can align and bold our text is we have a function up here with our italics and underscore. We have a B for bold. We'll go ahead and select B, and that will bold our cell. And to center it, we have our alignments here, and we're going to select the medium or the center alignment here. This is if you have a bigger cell with a lot of words, you would use these to center it or put it at the top of the words, put the words at the top of the cell or the bottom of the cell. But you would generally use these to center or align your text.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Let's go ahead and talk about how to duplicate or add a new sheet to our Excel sheet. So at the very bottom of the page, we have sheet 1. If we right click, we have a menu appearing and we want to select move or copy. And it will bring us a menu. So to create a copy of the sheet, we want to create a copy. And then we will, if you want to move it at the end, we'll want to select move to the end. And if we select OK, we have duplicated our spreadsheet and we have moved it to the end. We can create a new sheet with this plus icon here, and it has created a sheet for us. Just a new blank sheet. Okay. Do I need to repeat how to add a spreadsheet or copy a sheet?
Yes, it
Okay,
looks like somebody would appreciate that.
sure thing. Okay, let me go ahead and delete these then. Okay, so to add a new sheet to our spreadsheet, we want to select a new sheet. And if we select this icon here, it will give us a blank new sheet to work with. If we want to copy our current sheet, we want to right-click on the current sheet and we want to select move or copy. Okay, and we want to select sheet 1. We have a box here that says create a copy. We want to click on that. And if we want it to move to the end, we can select move to the end and we'll press OK. And we have duplicated our spreadsheet and moved it to the end. All right. So it looks like I did run over a little bit of time, but thank you so much for joining us for Excel Basics. I can answer maybe 1 or 2 questions before I end the session. Do we have any questions that I can answer at this time, Meredith?
So we have one asking, can we see duplicated? So can you show how the information is the same, I guess?
Okay.
Between the first one and the second one you duplicated?
Sure. So the first one, it's named sheet with the parentheses 2 as in a copy. If we select 5, you can see that nothing's there. But if I select sheet 1 and sheet 1 over here, you can see that they basically have the same data.
All right. I think that covers it all.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us for this session. A recording of this will be emailed in the next few days. You can watch this again or practice at your own pace. To find more information about the class, you can visit planolibrary.org or planolibrarylearns.org.
Yes, and if you'd like to attend the next one in the series, we'll be covering formulas and functions more in depth, and that'll be next week at the same time. So that'll be, I believe, is it the 12th? What day of the week is that? Yes, the 12th. So on the 12th, same time, we'll be covering formulas and functions and going into some of the basics of those. You're already registered as you registered for this class for all of the ones in the series, so we hope to see you there.